Every so often, a show comes around that changes the course of history. A show so ahead of its time, you'll swear that artificial intelligence is behind it. A show that gets you feeling so high, you'll wish Girl Scout cookies were being sold outside your door. A show so hot, you'll think you're sitting on an old metal playground slide. A show that moistens the loins so much. Yeah, no, I'm not continuing on that thought. Moving on. Always live, unscripted, and always providing a break from the daily BS. You're about to experience whatever this is with your host, Mo Lightning.
Somehow, someway, moistens the loins became a reoccurring topic on episode 2 this week with Kitsy Duncan as my guest. So make sure to check that out if you haven't done so. Coming up Monday, I sacrifice my taste buds for you as I do a live taste testing of the Hidden Valley Ranch ice cream that I don't know why it exists. I don't know why I'm trying it, but it's going to happen that way. I am Mo Lightning, at Mo Lightning on the socials, at Whatever with Mo on those same socials. A lot to get to today. WrestleMania is upon us, the Super Bowl of pro wrestling, if you will. And I have a couple of my friends joining me on the show. We'll start with a gentleman who is no stranger to co-hosting podcasts with me. This guy's probably is tired of co-hosting wrestling shows with me. BALLZ, you probably thought you were done with this, didn't you?
God, I gave this up a while ago. I don't know how I got back here. I don't remember where to look or what to do with my hands. This is good. WrestleMania.
Welcome back. Thank you for taking a few moments from work. I assume here in the 2 minutes that the show has been live, you've already missed 5 phone calls and 14 emails.
Yes, that's accurate. Yeah.
He is a workaholic. So if you see him drifting off during this show, I'm hoping that's the reason why, because of work and not but because, he's bored.
I don't get bored on our shows.
That's good. That's good. I will tell you now, unfortunately, no Guess the Groin. We just don't have time for it this time.
I was hoping you'd bring that out just to throw it in there, but that's fine.
We got a lot to talk about, and we're not even going to be able to cover all of WrestleMania this weekend. But further helping us out, he is the voice of this program. He is the voice of every radio station ever. And this guy, he loves his wrestling. And no matter what you say, you can be the most correct you've ever been in your life. He will tell you you're wrong. ADAM SCHNEIDER, how are you?
I'm very good. And how's it feel to tomorrow and the next night to watch this with me in my own house? You get to hear that during every single match.
Well, I'm very excited to hang out with Josie anyway, your dog. So
yes, everybody loves Josie.
And so that's really all I got on this one here is just Josie, wrestling. I'm good to go. Anybody watching anything other than WrestleMania? Of course, you got NXT, you got the Hall of Fame, you have the Card of Honor, the whatever. I mean, you got everything this weekend. BALLZ, are you watching anything else?
I'm pretty sure I'm watching Super Card of Honor tonight. I will check out the Hall of Fame at some point. I like the idea that it's only like literally 5 people. It's a condensed. We said that for years. They needed to not induct 16 people a year. But so yeah, I'll probably check out the Hall of Fame. NXT, I don't really care to check out. I don't see much need for me to watch that.
Okay. All right. What about you, Adam?
Definitely be watching the Hall of Fame tonight. Always a fan of that. And I might pop in a little bit for NXT, mainly just for the main event. Just to basically, I want to see, okay, whoever loses, they're probably popping up Monday night.
Okay, so Adam, big question about the Hall of Fame. Did Andy Kaufman fake his death only to return for a WWE Hall of Fame induction?
I hope so. I definitely hope so.
Can you imagine the pre-planning involved in that?
Well, I think maybe a better question might be, what are the odds that we see Tony Clifton instead?
I think all are very much possible. And frankly, I'm getting my hopes up for all of the above. And if none of that happens, I'm going to be pissed and boycott the rest of the weekend.
Right.
That's what you do as a wrestling fan, right? When you're upset about something, you don't boycott. You just continue bitching and moaning about it.
You tweet about it.
Yeah, that's what the internet's for now.
Exactly.
Yeah, angry tweet about it. Yeah.
before we get to predictions here, we've all been fortunate enough to have gone to at least one WrestleMania as fans in our lives. So I asked the question, favorite live WrestleMania moment. So think about it for a second. Maybe it's a match that you'll never forget. Maybe it's something that happened off screen. Maybe it's something like BALLZ drove like a grandma, and I'll never ever let him forget that.
It was Texas. I would say it was a comparative. It was fine Ohio driving. You just came from LA, and everything is slower compared to that. I mean, we did go to the one in Texas.
32.
That was the one McMahon took the dive off the top of the cage. Shane,
The Hell in a Cell, yeah.
Not Vince. But I think my main memory from it is you, me, and Billy running around Access for hours, just taking pictures of dumb stuff and enjoying being stupid and, trying to wait in line for autographs and stuff like that. Like
letting him wait in line, 90 minutes for AJ Styles while you and I are checking out the entire NXT broadcast.
Yeah, right? Yeah. I mean, we saw and it was like random good people, like Austin Aries showed up. I was like, all right, I would much rather watch this than.
Did you just say good people and then put Austin Aries in that same conversation?
Yeah, it was who I thought of.
I mean, back then the internet didn't hate him, I don't think. But
no, not yet. But eventually they did turn, as they always do.
As they always do. What about you, Adam? Which ones have you been to?
So I have went to WrestleMania 28 when I was living in Miami, which living there I was working in radio, so it was awesome. Like that morning of the day before, or the 2 days before, so that Friday, I was walking up and DX is at the food truck right outside as I'm walking in, and Jimmy Hart's coming in, and Dusty Rhodes, and all these people, and obviously seeing that Hell in a Cell match of the end of the era. But the memory that sticks out to me the most was actually the first WrestleMania I went to, when I really started getting into wrestling and going to live events all the time and watching all the pay-per-views with all my friends every month and whatnot. And that was back when I lived in Boston at WrestleMania 14. The one memory that really, really sticks out was being in the arena and Undertaker having that big grand entrance with all the druids lining the way with the torches. And they must have cranked the AC. So it was literally, you could feel the chill in the air. And I was like actually starting to shiver for a second. And then when, the match started, because Kane was already out there, then they just, I guess, turned it back to normal. But you could actually feel the atmosphere and the temperature in there change. And it was just really, really cool. And obviously, the Austin 316 era officially underway after that. But it was the Undertaker entrance out of anything. It's probably my best memory.
All right. My favorite one involves a name that BALLZ mentioned, Billy. At WrestleMania 31, he and I went to that one, and he's going to hate that I brought this up. He is so embarrassed by this moment, but I'm envious of Billy. That was the Triple H Sting match.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Which, if you remember, had the NWO run-in and the DX run-in.
Yes.
While it didn't make complete sense that the NWO was helping Sting out, it wasn't done for that reason. It was done to have DX versus NWO, and Billy next to me lost his shit. I mean, I've never seen a grown man jump up and down in excitement like that. And he's embarrassed by it, but he let himself go. He got so caught up in the moment. I'm envious that I'm unable to do that.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was an awesome flashback to, because I'm sure like you guys we're all about the same age. And yeah, the late 90s was really the time for wrestling. And it was one of those, like, I loved and hated the Monday Night Wars for exactly the same reason. I loved it because it was like something new and you didn't feel like you could miss anything. But on that exact same thing, they're both on at exactly the same time. And I'm like, my thumbs are only so fast to switch back and forth. I didn't want to miss something and all that. But I missed that.
I was lucky that I would always go to a friend's house and we had two TVs on. So we would watch both Nitro and Raw at the same time and just flip over to who we liked more on the big screen. And we're able to keep up with all of the above there. So with that, a lot to predict, a lot to talk about, and we'll kick off with possibly the hottest storyline. But a question about it first from my dude Lars.
Oh.
How the hell are Sammy and KO versus the Usos not main eventing night one? Theory versus Cena. Yes, Vince is definitely back. BALLZ and I were just talking about this.
Yeah, that's
that is being promoted like it's the main event, Cena and Austin.
Yeah.
But on Raw this week, they said it's the opening match.
They confirmed that again today. It is the opening match.
Yeah.
But they still won't say what the headliner is. And I just read earlier today, Sami Zayn was interviewed. Hey, are you guys going to main event? And he's like, he doesn't even know at this point.
Yeah, I think
he's saying he doesn't know.
Yeah, yet to be seen or something like that. Yeah.
I look at it has to be.
Yep.
Because I know there's the politics of, you need the females for one night if you're having the males in the other night. But I look at it more that only once in the history of WrestleMania has a tag team match headlined and been the main event. And that was way back at WrestleMania 1. And never have the tag titles been the main event. And I mean, obviously something could happen in the future, but realistically, I'm guessing it'd be 15 years from now would be the next opportunity the tag titles would have to main event. So you have to. Plus, I mean, you have the two MVPs of this past year in that match in Jey Uso and Sami Zayn.
Yep, exactly.
How can you not reward them? Just, because Charlotte has main evented 4 times now, 3 times now. And I know she's politicking backstage. Rhea Ripley, she'll have plenty of opportunity. I think she's definitely the future of that division. It's got to be the tag title match in my book.
It has to be. The Bloodline story is the hottest thing, and it has to main event both nights. To me, there's no other option.
And I think the other thing too is, for another reason why the tag match should main event night one, is I'm sure pretty much we're all predicting Sammy and Kevin to win that, but that also, looking at it from TV or movie storyline kind of, from that type of an angle, it leaves that cliffhanger from night 1 to night 2. How's Roman going to react? What's Roman going to do? How's it going to affect the bloodline? And it's like they have lightning in a bottle, and I'm sure you guys have seen all the memes and whatnot of Jey Uso should win an Emmy and Sami Zayn should win an Emmy and all that kind of stuff. I can't remember a storyline that has really captivated my attention and changed for 9 months. Yeah, we had the Daniel Bryan thing leading into WrestleMania 30. We've had the NWO stuff, but those were more little bits that just happen to work. This is pure writing for 9 months to a year that started off, they didn't really know, but now they went with it, and it's been brilliant.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. It had its whole first run with Jay and main event Jey Uso and all that stuff, and then it started to dwindle, and then they added Sammy, and it took on a whole second life of its own. And I feel like you have to reward that as the main event. You just have to.
I would certainly hope that this is the main event for reasons that you guys have already covered. If it's not, I assume it's Charlotte versus Rhea, and should that happen, which we'll get to that match as well, but should that happen, and that's the main event, I would actually guess it's because Charlotte's time is limited, and that's me speculating. But it really just kind of seems like Charlotte's gonna go the Hollywood door here sooner than later.
I would actually guess it'd be she would go the mother door. That's more what I'm thinking.
I guess you could do both doors.
It's possible too, for sure. Maybe both. Who knows? But
don't you also think too that if, say, Charlotte and Rhea is the final match, the crowd is going to be silent for that match. It's not going to help them at all. It's going to hurt them.
Yeah, I agree.
Unless it's this match, the one that we're starting with, unless this one is isolated somehow that far away from Rhea and Charlotte. I don't know if they're going to be silent because the crowd does love the hell out of Rhea. So, but maybe it's not the reaction WWE wants when we got a Rock and Hollywood Hogan situation where the crowd going to boo the crap out of Charlotte and cheer the hell out of Rhea.
Right. I think it's more like, you never wanted to follow The Undertaker at WrestleMania. I think it might be one of those type of situations where the crowd's not going to be silent, but they're not going to be as into it as, they would if it was 4th on the card or something like that.
Let's just be honest. That storyline is just not as strong as this.
Right.
Like, just in terms of story in general, this is the strongest story. And Rhea is involved in a strong story, but it's not the one with Charlotte.
Right.
Like she has a whole secondary strong
you could
story.
argue that star power is bigger in that one only because of Charlotte. I'm not saying I agree with it, but Charlotte has been booked to be a legend in women's wrestling.
Yes.
Whereas the Usos, they're tag team legends at this point. And we know we love Sammy and Kevin, a former world champion. But like in the WWE hierarchy, Charlotte probably excels over all of them.
Yeah.
But again, this is the call. This is what should be that main event for the reasons that we've mentioned. With that said, who's winning? Is there any chance the Usos retain the belts?
I don't think so.
I don't. Yeah.
Yeah. Out of the two bloodline matches, I think this is the most clear cut.
Yeah. I would love to see a swerve somewhere in the bloodline story because I don't want this to be the end. Like I want the bloodline story to keep going somehow. And I don't know if it becomes like a redemption of the bloodlines climb back up or how whatever it becomes. But yes, I think Owens, Sammy probably win this. But yes, somebody give Jey Uso an Emmy. Like not just a slammy,
Yes.
like an actual Emmy.
We have a great story with Cody about the whole, finish the story. But when it comes to wanting to see the happy ending, Sammy is the one that we've been cheering for this entire time.
Yes.
Jay's come and gone. We all respect the hell out of Jay, but Sammy's the one that needs a happy ending here. So I think this is at least what we're going to get there. So
I
agree on that one. What do we got here? Joe says purely got to be setting up a KO and Zayn run, right? Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, at some point,
they were amazing on the independents together as a tag team. Why not show it to the mainstream audience?
I'm sure.
So since we talked about this one, Charlotte and Rhea may or may not be the other headliner that night. There's that. See, BALLZ. I knew it. I knew that was going to happen.
I'm sorry. I if you remember any of our previous shows, I hate Charlotte Flair with a passion.
I'm sick of her too.
I don't know. Hate is a strong word, but I could understand feeling overexposed to her.
Yeah.
Remember that year she was gone? That was great.
I mean, at this point, you don't have to put a belt anywhere near her.
No.
Put her in like the current Cena kind of.
Yeah.
Have her elevate other wrestlers. You don't need her in the title picture.
Totally. I'm picking Rhea for this, but my issue is if she wins the SmackDown belt, where does Judgment Day go? Does it become a thing that encompasses two shows? Or does she split and do her own thing on SmackDown? Does Dominic go with her? Like, there's a lot of things that could happen if she becomes a SmackDown champion.
Well, there's rumors that the night, very soon after WrestleMania, they're having another draft. So I think that could solve that problem.
Oh,
totally. And even then, if you watched programming over the last specifically 3 months, but you could argue 6 months or longer, the brand split doesn't seem to be as cut and dry as it used to be. There are still, if you want to see a live event, you're going to have branding behind it. But even then, they have crossover stars on the house shows. So I don't know if that's as big of a concern. I think last year, if this would have been the case, I think that would have been a legit question. But this year, I think it's just a stupid question, BALLZ.
Well, in that case, put the freaking belt on Rhea and Charlotte can go anywhere else.
Yeah, I think, again, I don't know why I think this, but I feel that Charlotte is leaving for a while, either for Hollywood or motherhood. And then I could see her returning as a part-timer, kind of like a special attraction sort of wrestler. And if that's the case, that's why she has the belt now, to hopefully put Rhea over and Rhea starts her new reign of terror.
Yes, I can see that.
I think it's my pick is definitely Rhea in this. I mean, she is just so over, and plus I think this is redemption for the COVID WrestleMania where she inexplicably lost the NXT title to Charlotte.
Right? That was the one where she dressed like a Dragon Ball Z character, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was like the first time we saw her wearing white
Mhm.
under this character, and it
Yeah.
was distracting.
It was a little disarming. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, what are you doing? No, you don't wear that color, Rhea.
No, right?
You stop that. You stop that right now. So let's talk about the opener then. Let's talk about Austin Theory and John Cena and BALLZ. This one's for you, bud.
Oh, all right.
Nice.
I see both of those groins are obvious. That's,
I would
So they finally made one with John with the comb over, huh?
yeah.
They're finally starting to age John Cena
Yeah.
even in action figure form.
That's his Peacemaker action.
Although I don't think they do the bald spot justice.
You have to take a belt sander to the back of it for that.
So what are we thinking on this one? Cena's back for, I love all the hyperbole in pro wrestling. It's always the biggest match of so-and-so's career. This one I actually think counts for Austin Theory.
Yes.
No, yeah, totally. Unfortunately, I think he's going to lose. I think it's going to be a great opener. I think Cena wins to really set the tone of anything can happen at this WrestleMania, and it's going to be a lot of fun. The crowd's going to react real well. However, I do feel that Cena's going to come out on night 2 and bring back his United States Championship Open Challenge, and at that point, that is when LA Knight comes out and beats John Cena.
Really?
Damn, this is
I like that idea.
Specific prediction here.
I like that idea. I definitely saw them filling another match night 2 because they're one short.
Yeah.
But do you think if he's doing the open challenge, they're not going to reward Bobby Lashley? How do you leave him? I'm a huge LA Knight fan.
Yeah.
But if you're doing the Cena route in night 2, how do you leave Bobby off the card?
He gets to win the Battle Royal on SmackDown.
And that's gotten everybody how far?
Come on, it did wonders for Cesaro.
No, Jey Uso's the only one actually. I think that's done anything.
Hey, Cesaro's gotten a huge push in that other company thanks to the Andre the Giant.
Andre the Giant.
Braun Strowman,
Battle Royal, blah, blah, blah.
But no, I thought about, okay, how much time does Cena have? Was he going to resurrect the Open Challenge? Yeah. But I see this as pushing the future, and I see John doing the deed and putting Austin Theory over.
Wow.
I could see. I believe Theory wins this, but I don't think it's legit. I don't think it's a full 1, 2, 3. He beats him cleanly. I don't know if he cheats, if Cena's distracted. I mean, it's Theory. And it opens the door for a possible rematch in the future should the styles gel well enough. Although if Cena wins, I would love to see the Open Challenge return. And if LA Knight accepts it sooner than later, even better. If it's Lashley, I'm fine with that too.
I'm just glad we're picking different winners at this point.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll definitely agree with that one here. Got a question from David saying, an Orton return?
That's rumored. Suppose that they're bringing, he's in town, they brought him in, and they were wanting him for Monday, and he's like, no, if I'm here, I'm doing it. It's going to be at the big event.
He's been around the block before. He wants that WrestleMania paycheck.
He's finally, his back and everything is finally healed.
Ooh, okay. So then where does he insert himself?
I think he challenges. Well, I still don't know my answer to this, and so this isn't like a foreshadowing. Yeah. Hypothetically, if Cody wins, I think Orton's the first challenger.
Ooh, okay.
And it makes perfect sense with legacy
and
all that.
Finally, we can get Ted DiBiase Jr. as special referee. Finally. That guy needs a job. So
Who was the other one in that group?
Manu.
Thank you. As they started expanding,
he's the one Samoan not in the bloodline. They're like, now we're good.
I'd read the rumor that even when they were supposed to do the whole head of the table thing before Sammy was put on trial, they were supposed to get the whole family. That even Manu was invited to be a part of that segment.
Or
expensive, even Manu will be there.
Even Manu.
What about this as a possibility for an Orton return? We're one match short.
Mhm.
What about Bobby Lashley pulls out? All right, because he said I'm, social media. I think he said once actually on TV. He doesn't care who it is. He is fighting at Mania. What if it's Orton?
You were obsessed with Lashley.
My only issue with that is you push Lashley to make the thing. You'd expect Lashley to win? How does Orton come back and then lose to Lashley? You'd expect Orton to win, so I don't see
now
either of them.
politicking.
Oh, I could see if it's like a distraction, an RKO out of nowhere,
Yeah,
or something like that.
I can see that.
I'm still thinking Orton returns with Matt Riddle, and I think they return as a tag team. If Orton's good to return, if he's good to wrestle, because we're seeing him backstage, he's in great shape, but we are assuming he is cleared to wrestle.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just an appearance, but if he is returning to wrestling, I think him and Riddle had something good going. And
do they replace?
Maybe they break him up this time, and then Orton goes
or they challenge Owens and Zayn, something like that,
or even help. Like Solo. I can see being at ringside.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe there's 2 years of tag team frustration coming out that it almost turns into an impromptu lumberjack match. That no bloodline interference. You guys doing that shit in the ring.
Yeah.
Well, if you remember too, when the Usos unified the titles, who'd they beat?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Back to the Cena thing real quick. Lars wants to know about Braun Breaker answering the open challenge.
Does he win or does he lose tomorrow? That's your answer.
There you go. All right. So I think we got one more left on the Saturday card, at least of the matches that I wanted to definitely cover here on the show.
Got it.
Today. Yeah. And this one,
I'm
very excited for this one, only because the talk about storylines and slow builds and payoffs. They took their time. They were patient with this one. And then the whole Dominic, the prison Dom into this Eddie Guerrero son. It's like,
talk about somebody who everybody hated.
I never thought I would say that.
Yeah, talk about somebody who nobody even just cared about. Not even hating, but you just didn't have like a reaction to him. And now just to see that growth over the last 6 months.
Amazing. I think this is the match that I don't know the winner of. Like, I really do not have a pre-picked winner in my head for this. Like, I want Ray to win just so it continues. Like, I want Dom to continue egging him on so he gets a second chance at beating his dad or something. And I just don't know. Like, because we are not at the point yet where Rey Mysterio gives up his mask to his son. Like, I don't think we're there. But so something has to happen in this match to make us continue it forward. And whether that's Dom wins because of a distraction or, I mean, Ray's already going in the Hall of Fame. So I truly don't think he's going to care what his win and loss record is. Like, he'll give his son the win. So maybe I do go with Dominic. I think I'm going to go with Dominic.
Adam, what are you thinking?
I think if you asked me this 2 weeks ago, I would have said hands down, no question, Dominic. I'm still picking Dominic, but it's gone more towards 50-50 in my head a little bit. But I look at it, he's going to put his son over. He wants his son to succeed in the business. I mean, it could be, I don't know if it's necessarily going to be clean. It could be one of those, his mom is at ringside and, one of those situations like Edge and Beth and he had to, yell, I quit because of that or something like that. But I think, Ray is going to be the father and, set his son up for the career. I don't think this whole thing ends. I still think even with Dominic winning, I think this is going through SummerSlam. And that might be when Ray will finally win at SummerSlam or something like that.
Yeah.
But I think it's Ray's going to proudly put his son over.
For the sake of argument, I'm going to call Rey Mysterio to win this one for the feel good factor. That we've been wanting to see Dominic get his spanking for quite some time. CM Punk's been waiting 14 years.
Yeah. I saw that.
And we've seen in the past with the Judgment Day that they could lose a pay-per-view match and you think the feud's moving on, they don't let it move on.
No.
So I could see Ray winning and the Judgment Day tomorrow or Monday night on Raw or whatever, they don't let it end like that. They don't let Ray move on, into the sunset. So I think we get all of the above. Everything we just said, Ray wins, and the story continues with now a very pissed off, egotistical Dominic.
Yeah, but I also do think in this match you do also have the Damian Priest factor.
And that's the thing is, like, Damian's probably only going to be escorting one person out this weekend, even though he should be with all of them.
Yeah.
But most likely with Dom, and the man advantage is definitely there.
Yeah.
All right. So then, do we get a Conan appearance, like a Vicky Guerrero appearance? Like, what are the odds?
Vicky would be great. Vicky has been talking about how she's wanted to be a part of this storyline for months, and indirectly has been, because apparently Rhea and Dominic call her every month to get opinions and thoughts on things. And she went on the record this week to state that she has no doubt that Eddie would have absolutely loved this storyline.
Isn't she officially done with AEW now too?
I think that's what I read.
Yeah,
she's like done now. But
that would be, to me, that would be the greatest thing, is you have Vicky come back and be a part of this storyline and claim Dom as her son.
Right.
Yes.
I mean, that just adds a new level right there. But I'm not getting my hopes up for that.
If Dominic does not come out in like a purple lowrider, like something is very wrong for WrestleMania.
Yeah. So I would hope so. I would really hope so, that we get even more Eddie tributes. And whatnot.
Yeah.
I know somebody said online that they loved the transition, that Dominic's really starting to look like Eddie, and he's actually had Eddie homages in his outfits and stuff for quite some time. But I love that the mullet and everything is looking exactly like Eddie Guerrero.
Yeah.
And if WWE cancels this after this weekend, I'm pissed. I'm done. I'm boycotting wrestling. And by boycott, I mean just continue talking.
You're going to tweet.
Yeah. Tweet about it.
Online. Yeah. And I like how, like, Adam's in the middle of all this, so he always kind of seems like he's a third competitor.
Triple threat.
Since we are talking about Judgment Day, BALLZ even said beforehand, "Man, I really hope the demon comes out in purple." And I'm like,
that'd be great. I really just want it because I want an action figure of it. Like,
I mean, you don't do a purple and black color scheme and then go back to red demon. You just can't.
No,
you can't do it.
No, should be illegal.
So is this the actual end of the feud between Edge and Judgment Day?
It has to be.
This has to be. I feel like this one's gone on too far. But yeah, so I think Edge wins, even though the demon's there. I like the rumor of the Brood entrance. I hope that happens. The rumor I read that Tony Khan gave Christian the blessing to be in the entrance.
Ooh.
I didn't read that.
I didn't hear about that one.
Yeah, like if it's a thing, Christian got a blessing to be in the entrance as a one-off.
Wow.
I hope it's true, because a Brood entrance would be fantastic against
Gangrel is there.
Right, exactly. Gangrel's everywhere.
Yes.
He's always there.
I just hope Gangrel knows where he's at and somebody guides him to the correct direction he needs to go. Otherwise, he's coming up through the flames on fire.
So
just fanging and banging.
With Finn coming out as the demon and WrestleMania, I'm sure you guys have already seen, what the entranceway looks like, but every year it's a really long entranceway. Is he going to crab walk or whatever the entire way down?
Muscles would be on fire the entire time.
Hey, if anybody could do it, though, that guy's
ripped.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's going to be a moving walkway like you have at the airport. That's what they're going to do to allow him slinking to be a little bit quicker.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, this one is actually one of the matches I'm most looking forward to, because you have Edge, and my favorite of all time, and Finn as definitely, for a while, he was my favorite of the current crop, and now he's definitely, top 5, top 3. I think this one, it's one of those, I think Finn needs it more, and I'm picking Finn to win as a demon. Plus, the demon, up until that one match with the stupid broken turnbuckle against Roman, has never lost. He was always protected. And I just think, Edge is also of that ilk where he wants to progress everything and put the younger guys over to make everything better in the future. And there's a whole list of wrestlers that he wants to wrestle still. So yeah, it's definitely the end of the feud, but I think I pick it Finn to win this one.
Yeah, I agree with Adam on this one. I think the credibility of the Judgment Day kind of needs their leader to win.
Yeah.
If he is still their leader, a lot of people are starting to say Rhea's becoming that unofficially. But we already called, we think she's going to win.
Yeah.
But I just think unless the Judgment Day is on the line, which it's not, but if it was going to, that's the only way I could see like Edge winning on this one. I think he puts over a young talent. And I use quotes because
he's 40?
Yeah, exactly.
But the best part about this match, the red cell is no more. It's back to just the normal cell.
Yeah.
Darn. Or do we know that's not being spray painted purple right now?
Purple cell.
There you go. It could be.
Do we know this for sure? Yeah. So either way, it's going to be a fun match. I just hope Edge doesn't overdo it.
Yeah.
Because Edge, he's in great shape, but he has come back and been a bit injury prone, and Hell in a Cell not exactly, a comfortable match.
And he said this week too that he's going to do some stupid stuff.
I could see that.
Yeah, right.
I could see that. If they ever want a wish version of this match, I thought of the term "stabbing in the cabin," which could also be a porno. I just tried to think of other similar names to that, and that's what I came up with.
Oh, God, that's awful. All right.
This is actually the one I'm probably most looking forward to. And I never thought I would say that with Sheamus and Drew McIntyre in the match.
Right.
But knowing what all these guys can do, knowing how brutal all three of these guys can be, this match has a chance to be a show stealer.
I agree. I think Gunther has to continue winning. I think it'll be great. It'll be violent. It'll be, heavy-handed.
There's going to be a lot of red chests.
Oh God, yeah. A lot of that. But I still think Gunther needs to just keep going.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't think either of these guys need to win the IC title.
No, I pick Gunther as well. I think he's going to be going at least through SummerSlam with this. I think he's going to be pinning Sheamus because Sheamus had the amazing match with him at Clash of the Castle, which I think was a match of the year last year. I think by Sheamus getting pinned, it will start the feud with just Drew to get a few matches with them. But I do eventually think it's going to be Sheamus is the one that takes the IC title from him because that's the one belt Sheamus has yet to win.
Which is shocking, really.
Yeah, great storyline. I love how that's actually led into this match where Drew comes out challenging Sheamus, even though they're best friends. Just the hell, bro. This is my belt. I want this belt, and I could actually see Sheamus winning this match.
Yeah,
I could see him getting a WrestleMania moment since they don't really like acknowledging him beating Daniel Bryan in 30 seconds years ago.
I think it was 8. It was like 8 seconds.
I mean, the whole segment was 30 seconds.
It was there, and I don't even remember because I looked down, I looked up, and it was over.
So yeah, that wasn't really a good moment for Sheamus. It was a good moment for Daniel Bryan, who then the crowd's like, okay, we're not putting up with this anymore. I could see Sheamus getting his moment by pinning Drew, actually. And then Gunther, of course, points out that he wasn't a part of the decision. Maybe wins it back pretty quickly.
Is there a chance that's the next
Ryder? Congratulations, you've had all the belts now.
Yeah.
Is there a chance that rematch turns into the 7th match on that same night?
Possibly.
Depending on where it's slotted.
Yeah.
Possibly. Now, are you sure that there's going to be another match added, or are we just in for some really long-ass matches on Sunday?
Well, not with Brock and Omos. There's not going to be a bunch.
That's not going to be a long one. Yeah.
But all the rest of them can go.
I mean, Hell in a Cell could be a long match.
Yeah.
Obviously, Roman and Cody's not going to be a 2-minute TV match.
Yeah.
This triple threat is going to be long. I think this will go over 20.
Yeah. So And who knows? Do we have any musical guests that we're aware of that have to perform?
I did
Just
see
the
there was
America the Beautifuls is all I know of.
I saw a rapper too. I don't know if he's performing. I don't know.
Wow.
Ooh.
Yeah. I'm just curious, or if we're gonna get like a long segment with Stone Cold. Obviously, there's been a lot of talk that WWE wanted to pull Stone Cold in again this year.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't seem to be interested, but Stone Cold shows up and stuns a young talent.
Do we see The Rock possibly show up with it being in LA still?
Do you think he's brave enough to do that after denying us the whole Roman Rock thing that we've been wanting for? Do you think he shows up and then he's not in the Hall of Fame this year? It's like, do you think he shows up and we're all like, oh, where you been?
Where you been?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I think it being in LA, sure. Like, odds are better that he'd show up as opposed to other cities, but I don't know.
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting. I think we're in for some sort of long segment on Sunday, if not an added match. Solo, we mentioned a few moments ago, doesn't have a match.
No.
He's kind of the odd man out in this whole equation, so maybe Solo gets added somehow. And against Bobby Lashley, because he's being added to every match.
Everything. Everything's better with Bobby Lashley.
See what happens when you decide to work with Bray.
Lashley. Everything's better with Bobby. I wouldn't buy that shirt, but
better with Bobby.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I would.
All right. So as far as this match goes, I mean, like,
it wasn't Sammy. Sammy didn't get to dethrone the king.
No.
This is the toughest one to pick.
Right. That's kind of what I'm thinking too.
Because you think with the story, the Royal Rumble win, all of that is.
It should be a no-brainer for Cody, but it's not.
Right.
It should be. But at what point does Cody feel force-fed? Like, the crowd is behind him now, but at what point do they turn on that? You're like, all right.
Do you strike while the iron's hot? You let him finish the story now, and he's champion. That keeps momentum. Mm-hmm. Do you think he can keep the momentum if he loses?
No, because he didn't finish the story. Like, he paused it.
Or does he get screwed over? Does Heyman do something to maybe trip up Rhodes? Just something little enough that we keep support for Cody and he walks out without a championship.
Yeah, where Roman still wins somehow. Ooh.
See, it's like the one thing that's holding me off from Cody winning being a slam dunk is the WWE is so obsessed with all of these milestones, and Roman is so close to 1,000 days.
Okay.
He's something like 30 days away or something. By the time
all right.
Mania comes to pass. Yeah, he's over like 960 days already. So because they want Roman as because the only wrestlers that have eclipsed that is Bruno, Hogan, and I think Arnold Scotland or something like that. It's like that. Nobody remotely recent.
No.
I mean, we are in the era of ADHD. Attention spans are shorter than ever. So to be able to have such a long reign is amazing. I'm sure they're being very particular about when are we going to end this, because we can't get this back anytime soon.
No, it can never happen again.
We need to be very particular about when this ends.
And for me,
obviously, if Cody wins, I don't think anybody on this screen is going to be heartbroken about it. But if you're not going to give that title win to Sammy, does Cody deserve it more, or does Jay deserve it above all?
I was going to say, I think Jay is the one that really should be ending this. He was the beginning, bookend it. He should be the one to finally put him down. And the Jay matches, I think, were the best of the bunch.
Right? Yeah.
You definitely had a lot of heart behind that. I could see storyline-wise. Now, how does Cody lose? I don't know. If it's clean or if it's by thievery, I don't know. But if the Usos drop their belts and Roman retains his, that allows him to continue berating them.
Yeah.
That, you guys can't hold up your part of the bargain. Here, I'm still your tribal chief. And that's when Jimmy and Jay then are like, okay, why are we still doing this? Why are we still putting up with this guy? And maybe that's when the dissension happens.
Yeah.
I could see that. But again, how does Cody lose without losing too much momentum?
Mm-hmm.
See,
And maybe he's not. Like, ratings have shown that people love Cody Rhodes, so maybe we're overreacting or overthinking this, and maybe Cody's just fine. He loses or wins, he's still a headliner.
Yeah, he's a top merchandise guy. And the other thing too, with the whole finishing the story, his story was never necessarily WrestleMania. It was just winning.
It was the title,
the WWE title.
Yeah.
And the other thing too is if Cody wins, do the titles stay unified? Do they get split?
That's what I think.
Split beforehand and whatnot, because
I think
there's rumors that there's already a new belt that's been created that is ready to go whenever Hunter pulls the trigger. So I mean, there's so many questions with this. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I mean, I hope when Cody wins, I hope he then splits them, because having one champ on both shows was just, I mean, it's old now. Like it was unique for a while, but it's not unique anymore.
Okay.
Although I do believe Cody, unlike Roman, would show up consistently, whereas Roman was like, I'm good.
Well,
Cody
because
would be like, what, you got a house show I can go to? Yeah, I'm there.
Well, let me toss this out then to you, because obviously, yes, whenever Cody does win, he doesn't have the contract that Roman does, so he will be there every week or most weeks. With having just the one belt dominating for world title, covering both shows, that has definitely brought up the IC title and the US title to really mean something. And the other thing too, of having just now that one unified title, it's kind of like in any video game, there's your final boss. Whereas which is the real final boss if you have it split?
And since we're talking about there not really being a lot of a brand split anyway at this point, there's Foundation separated, Star separated, but like BALLZ said, at this point, do we need to have that many individual titles?
Yeah,
I see both sides of the argument. It would be nice for shows to have something bigger to go for, but it is what it is. At this point, I'm going to call Cody to win. And win the belts and the bloodline completely over. Maybe not completely, but no, I think they will. Unless Solo somehow gets Bobby Lashley, they're all going to over. And I think he gets his happy ending. The bloodline gets a new direction starting this week. I mean, where that is, I don't know. Probably a lot of anger from Roman.
Probably.
And I think we move on from this era.
I can see that. I could see that.
Definitely. If you asked me this question and it was, WrestleMania 1 through WrestleMania 26, definitely it's Cody, because, Vince always sent everybody home happy, and then it was 27 that changed that. I still, with the way everything's gone, and they were so hell-bent on getting the storyline with Cody meaning so much to sort of take a little bit of the thunder away from Sammy, I think they're pulling the trigger on Cody. Plus, I think Roman is going to be probably taking some time off, looking at the Hollywood thing, kind of like Charlotte a little bit.
He's had a good run, albeit a part-timer. He's had a good run. I'm sure a breather's probably not bad for a guy who's, he's had some health scares over the years. I mean, this guy's gone.
I mean, it's kind of crazy though, because like 2 years ago, would you have said that he's in the conversation for the Mount Rushmore?
I know. Right?
Now he is.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And it's amazing what I wouldn't say one good storyline, but if you have the right storyline with the right people, just how it continues to grow from there.
And turning him heel did wonders.
Absolutely. Anything else from this match kind of but from the card, from WrestleMania weekend, that kind of stand out? I know BALLZ is excited for Rick Boogs. He loves Rick Boogs.
I hate that guy.
Boogs.
Did you even hate him with Shinsuke too, or?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's stupid.
I mean, it's definitely a very top heavy card. It's the bloodline, and then it's everything else. Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean, you have the the Ray, and Dominic. That's a very good secondary storyline. The Hell in the Cell match is a good secondary storyline. The IC title is a good secondary storyline, but nothing holds a candle to.
No. So really, it's like Bloodline, Judgment Day, everything else.
Yeah. Right. And there's a distinct gap between.
Yeah, there's a gap between. Yeah, for sure.
And did I read this right? That the Hell in a Cell is the only gimmicked match on the entire show?
Yeah.
There's a lot of
yeah.
singles matches on this show with no stipulation. And
Well, the Brock Lesnar match has somebody in there who can't wrestle and is really big. I don't know if that counts as a gimmick, but
which one?
Omos.
Oh,
because
that
Lashley
guy.
kind of qualifies now. Let's be honest. He used to be able to wrestle. We don't know if he still can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other thing too, I think that stands out to me about this card is just how underdeveloped, and it's almost like they just didn't care about any of the women's storylines.
It's like they started like the Asuka came back as just vicious.
Yeah.
And then it like 2 weeks later, it's like, meh. I'm like, all right.
And it's all jokes now. Like it's in the
yeah.
last couple of weeks with her.
No, you're supposed to be killing people. Like, just murder someone. That's what we want in our Asuka.
I know a lot of people aren't excited for that match. I don't think anybody's groaning because we all know that they can both move. But I feel like they're both going to have a chip on their shoulder, and I do think that's going to be a match that's better than we're expecting. Because I think Asuka realizes that she's got some repairing to do with her personality and her character on screen, and Bianca. She seemed like she was going to be taking on Rhea, and it seemed like she was on to bigger, better things at WrestleMania. So I think they're both going to be a little pissed off, and it's going to be a good match.
Yeah, no.
What are the odds you think Seth Rollins, Logan Paul steals the show?
I think it's possible.
Athletically, it's very much on the cards.
I know the fans on the internet, the people watching this hate the Logan Paul guy, but he has been very impressive in the ring.
Yeah,
I don't think this match changes that.
No, and I would imagine they redo his contract immediately.
Oh yeah, I don't think
they'll re-sign him. He's not going anywhere. Yeah.
No. It's like Bad Bunny. He's going to be around, showing up sporadically. Yeah. He'll be a welcome part of the family when he wants to come and go, but he's not a full timer.
Yeah.
Do we see Trish turn heel tomorrow?
I don't know if it's going to be this weekend, but I think it's coming up.
It's happening. I don't know if it's this weekend. Yeah.
Because Damage Control.
2023, Trish Stratus is going to be a heel.
Right? Yeah, you're like,
she's
all right.
retired, you dumb son of a bitch.
But if there was ever a team or a wrestler that needs a win more than anybody on this entire card, it's easily Damage Control.
Yeah.
Kind of like Judgment Day. They were brought in to be this great group, and then they didn't really have a solid feud ready to go. And I don't know if that's due to injuries, but just like they couldn't keep that momentum where thankfully they had Edge, who was always, even when he was injured, still found a way to be in play with the Judgment Day. Damage Control desperately needs something on this.
And the titles aren't on the line, so Damage Control can win, and the other team doesn't lose anything.
Right.
Except for it sends Trish Stratus off the deep end to become a heel again. So
even if it's like a screw job kind of ending or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, it makes me wonder if the Alexa Bliss stuff maybe change some direction with Bianca Belair as well, and just kind of where all the female storylines were going. Because like you said, it seemed like an afterthought, but we haven't seen Alexa on TV in a while. It looked like that was going to be some sort of storyline that didn't phase out. And Alexa's another person. This could be another show another day, but I don't think she's going to be around after her contract expires. And I don't know when that is, but
she's there supposedly. They brought her in as well, even though I know she lives also there as well. But I just read actually earlier today that she was supposed to be involved with the Bray Uncle Howdy thing for WrestleMania.
And
she also had the skin cancer too, is why she's been off camera.
Yeah.
Well, she's been on camera, just not in wrestling, because she was part of the Masked Singer, and now she's releasing all these singing videos with her husband Ryan Cabrera. So I think she's going to get that itch. I think she's going to get that Hollywood itch, and she's going to go eventually. But in the meantime, if Alexa's in town, what are the odds that Bray Wyatt and family show up somehow, somewhere? Even
Do we know what's wrong with Bray?
Looked like it was going to be Bray and Bobby, Adam's favorite, just didn't pan out.
I mean, do we even know what's wrong with Bray and why he's not there? I mean, rumors,
speculation. That's all we got.
No, I say they don't show up at Mania. I say if anything, they show up the Raw after, or like the SmackDown after.
Because if we have a Bray Wyatt segment on Sunday, that explains why there's less matches.
Oh, totally.
Completely.
Because can you imagine how long that ramp is going to take for him?
But I mean, do you pull him for a segment when he already had a match booked? I don't think that makes sense.
I agree with you. I don't think that happened.
Well, he never officially had the match book. He just put out the challenge, and this is wrestling. You know, we're supposed to forget things that happened 3 weeks ago.
It's true.
So maybe he'll just have a workout session in the middle of the ring to continue the last time we saw him.
Or does Lashley win the Andre the Giant Battle Royal? Afterwards, the lights go out, and maybe then they reconvene, and we continue on with the storyline.
No, because not
What
even
sense does
Bray
it make?
Wyatt cares about
I don't
the
know,
Andre the
Balls.
Giant Battle Royal.
It's pro wrestling. It doesn't matter what, you know.
I mean, the one I read a couple of weeks ago after when this whole Bray thing happened, which this will make Balls happy too. Supposedly, they were saving LA Knight as the emergency for Bobby. And that's legit. I'm not making that up.
Oh my God, you guys are going to be at each other's throats.
So maybe something happens in the Battle Royal, and then boom, that's night 2.
LA Night 2. It's gonna be.
Yeah, maybe they acknowledge it. Maybe they somehow, if not this weekend, but on Monday, they acknowledge the whole Bray Wyatt thing, and maybe it does involve Alexa, because the end of Bray's most solid run came when she cost him the match against Randy Orton.
Yeah.
So maybe that all comes back into play. She gets a nice little send off run with the character, because she always said she loved working with Bray Wyatt. I'm gonna be honest. Since working with Bray, Alexa does not seem like she cares that much in the ring. Like she doesn't seem to be putting that 110% out there. She's still naturally good, but like there seems to be a difference between Alexa then and Alexa now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What do you think the big surprises we see Monday night? Any debuts or whatnot?
I mean, I know Matt Cardona has canceled some upcoming appearances. That a lot of people are believing that Matt, and not Zack Ryder. Zack Ryder's dead.
Yeah, Zack Ryder's dead.
That Matt could be showing up, and the day after Raw would always be a good place for a guy like him to show up.
Day after Mania.
Yeah.
It's very possible.
Day after Raw is NXT.
Otherwise,
Cardona debuts in NXT.
That would be a giant middle finger to a lot of people.
I'm calling the Hurt Business shows up just
on
to
Raw?
to fight Brock Lesnar. Almost gets beat up.
Lesnar? Is that what you called him? Brock Lesnar?
No, I called him Brock.
Is that like
Lesnar,
the Lego version of Brock Lesnar?
Just because you can't hear.
What?
I said Brock Lesnar. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
almost gets beat up. MVP brings it back his old buddies.
What an exciting prediction there is that the Hurt locker.
Well, no, but I'm trying to think.
These guys are going to be on Raw.
Yeah, but featuring what's his name from NXT, Carmelo.
Carmelo Hayes. Do you think Carmelo's losing?
I think he's losing, and then he's going to Raw.
Yeah, I think whoever that loser of that match is on NXT, I think is coming up. Cameron Grimes. I think we're finally going to see him, and possibly Jay White.
That would be. Jay White would be the biggest name, I think, obviously.
I mean, we know the WWE isn't as opposed to the Forbidden Door as they used to be. Do we see Mercedes? Do we see the former Sasha Banks just make an appearance? I'm not thinking wrestling, but just an appearance.
Just an appearance. I don't know.
I think they want her under contract.
Yeah, for sure.
They give her a better chance of seeing Vince on camera.
Well, I know she's currently in Orlando, so that she's not written.
Everybody's there.
They do,
everybody's in Orlando or Los Angeles right now, if not,
I know
by the end of the weekend.
She's booked at a convention this weekend, but eventually they do make airplanes, so she could be there by Sunday.
They do make
or Monday.
And do we see Riddle come back?
If he does, he comes back with Orton.
Yeah,
I could see Riddle back on Monday. I don't think they reward him by giving him a WrestleMania appearance.
Oh no, I think Monday.
That's true. Yeah,
but he's been ready to go. They seem to like the guy. They just had to punish him. So Monday, and him and his new grills, I think will show up. Oh, you haven't seen that, Balls?
No.
Oh, he got grills. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Are they staying? Are they permanent? I don't know, but he's got.
You know what?
Now.
If there's anyone in the company that you'd be like, he got grills, I'd be like, yeah, I get that from that for Riddle. All right. Yeah, that makes sense.
It definitely
he got face tattoos, and I'd be like, yeah. Matt Riddle just covered in face tattoos.
We'll probably see him popping up in a porn sometime soon. He's dating a porn star.
Riddle me this.
Yeah, I think they normally they separate business from pleasure on that
You would
one.
hope so.
But I see him go more the RVD route.
Okay. All right. Well, I always got RVD vibes from him even before all of that stuff. A guy that's really good, but wrestles completely different from everyone else.
Yeah.
I could see that. Absolutely. All right. Well, predictions. If you're watching this on demand, go ahead, leave us comments and give us your thoughts, and feel free to tell us how wrong we are, because we know we are. It happens that way, especially balls.
I can't believe you've made it this far. I mean, thanks for enjoying whatever this is. Be sure to like and subscribe. Follow and stalk the show in your social of choice at Whatever with Mo. What do you want to talk about? Reach out and tell Mo what you want to see on a future episode. Request a topic. Suggest a co-host or interview. Hell, become a sponsor, Moneybags.